First of all, I want to say I'm delighted to have the opportunity to speak on this today. Also, I actually haven't had the opportunity. I haven't actually seen Deputy Karen since she was elevated to her new position, so I just want to take the opportunity to say congratulations and wish her the very best of luck with the role as well. So last year on International Women's Day, we were only, the war in Ukraine had just started about a week or two previously, and it's difficult to imagine that a full 12 months on, the war is still raging with no end in sight. Last year I started my contribution on International Women's Day by sending solidarity to women who had fled here with their families, and I just want to reiterate that again. And also, as we unfortunately know, there is reports of rape and widespread sexual assault that are used regularly as weapons of warfare, not just against Ukrainian women, but wherever we do see war. And personally, as we've seen in history, sexual violence is not merely the action of rogue soldiers, but it's a deliberate tactic of warfare. There's an awful lot that we can say today on International Women's Day. There's a lot to be celebrated and commended. The acknowledgement of how far, I suppose, things have come. However, I want to particularly concentrate my remarks on the area of domestic violence, sexual assault and coercive control. So we know from the statistics that domestic abuse incidents attended by An Garda Síochána increased to a staggering 54,000 in 2022, which was up from 50,000 in 2021 and 44,500 in 2020. And I suppose just to say that these are the incidents that we know about that are actually, phoned into the Gardaí. A lot of people don't do that, as we know, and also I think it doesn't unfortunately reflect the amount of cases that are brought to court and that are then prosecuted. I do know that there is some really excellent people doing fantastic work, particularly in our Protective Services unit of the Garda Síochána, and I want to commend them today, and our Women's Refuges as well, and Women's Aid, Safe Ireland. But the process, I would say, is far too slow in terms of when somebody reports an incident to the potential arrest of that person to then going on to if there is going to be a court case. And you can actually understand when you get a glimpse into that world why women don't report, because it's very difficult to move on with your life. If you've been in this situation, you come out of this situation, you make a report, and it's dragging on for years at a time. So I just think we do need to see a lot more being done in terms of the actual prosecution, the speeding up of that process. I also want to touch on something that we became aware of last week through a parliamentary question, that there seems to be places earmarked for refuge in 2024, Wexford, Dundalk and Offaly, and I obviously welcome that. However, Carlow is still without a women's refuge, and that campaign has been ongoing for some time now. There's actually no refuge at all in Carlow, and we have a fantastic facility in Amber in Kilkenny, but they are trying to facilitate both Carlow and Kilkenny. And you will see situations where women won't leave, a very horrific, really, really dangerous situation, because if you have to try and get to your job if you're working, or get to your children to school, and there's often children involved, and you're trying to travel from Kilkenny to Carlow without transport, it's very, very difficult. And I was disappointed to see that we weren't higher on the list, and that there isn't a way of actually looking at all of the counties that don't have refuges and trying to prioritise them for spaces. So I just want to actually touch a little bit on the coercive control as well, because there was a recent study, and I forget now who it was done by, but basically it was actually really shocking to see the amount of particularly women that don't understand what coercive control is and don't understand, I suppose, maybe that they're potentially in that situation. And I just think whenever we have the opportunity in this House to raise awareness of it and to talk about it, we should do that. So Section 39 of the Act defines the parameters of controlling behaviour and coercive control. It says that an offence is committed under this section if a person knowingly and persistently engages in behaviour that has a serious effect on a person, that said person would have a fear of violence being used against them, or that this behaviour would cause serious alarm or distress that has an impact on their day-to-day life. We've had 7 convictions in 4 years. That's it. I mean, that's actually, I don't even know what the words are, but it's devastating to think that that's where we're at. I think I'm coming up on my time. Yeah, okay, so I will leave it at that. Thanks. Cian Corla.